Greetings, everybody. It's Jeffrey Guterman here for my first ever podcast. Um, I've seen podcasts advertised or promoted, I should say, uh, for both for quite a while, and I figured I'd get with the program and do my own version of a podcast, and that's why your screen is black right now. There is some uh, benefit uh, of doing an audio only uh, stream, if you will. Namely, I think that it requires listeners to use their imagination. So there's really something kind of nice to that. You know what I mean? Um, and I want to thank you for coming here to my first podcast. I want to talk about several things this evening, and this is interactive, so if you want to come in on the live text, please, by all means, do so. And I'll be more than glad to reply to all responsible texts. First, let's talk about my day. Well, my day was quite a day, and Lord, I'm on various medications. Medications is a euphemism for drugs. I'm on multiple drugs for my various maladies, including depression, anxiety, uh, and that includes medical cannabis. So I'm not promoting cannabis for others. Uh, I couldn't possibly do so. That would be only a physician, really. You and a physician can come to the decision as to whether you're going to be prescribed any drug, and I am prescribed medical. Uh, and I might get into that later. But I thought I would talk about my day. My day was my first day going solo from 8 a.m. Really 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's a long time. It's 11 hours caring for our new dog. His name is Non Noni, I think, or Nono. I think it's Noni. And his middle name is David. And I want to tell you, by 4:15 I was out of steam, taking care of an energetic puppy, an 8-week-old puppy German Shepherd, and this was my son's decision, and I have, by I guess acclamation, uh, taken on the duties during the day. And my son said he's very, appreciative, and of course he's with David now. And he said that he's very appreciative. It's quite an undertaking, especially for me, okay, because my baseline is not that great anyway. What I will say, that after doing it, it was hard work at times. The walking process was the most tedious, cumbersome, and frustrating at times. Uh, And the other day, we have a very regimented schedule on the hour and the half hour of feed time, walk time, play time, and crate time. And he gets 2 solid sessions of deep play. Is anyone out there? Can anyone just at least acknowledge in the text just to make sure? I see there's 7 people here. Let me listen in to see if the audio is coming through, listening in, because I also have this shown. Wait a minute. Bear with me. Oh, there. Oh, Rick DeBar is with me. Thank you. And let me just. Oh, I have this thing upside down. Shit. When I do that, let me just. Oh, I have this thing upside down. Shit. Oh, it's perfect. Well, so it's the day was regimented, and but the schedule, I was right on schedule right until about noon, and then it just gradually unraveled to the point where I was walking him. I probably missed him urinating. If and when he did, my son said you have to really watch because they don't lift their leg up yet. It's a male. And I think I missed 1 or 2. And we're very cognizant. We're going full blown. This is an investment to train a dog. And he had 2 bowel movements outside. And as far as playtime, we had 2 20-minute sessions, and it's rigorous. It's me and him. I taught him, started getting him to learn the fetch game. The feeding time, boy, he's hungry. And we have a big vat of his food in a plastic container. And he jumped on it twice. I had to tell him to get down. We also are training him to be obedient. It'll wear you out, Rick. Oh, yeah. Rick notes that even when I was much younger, keeping up with a GSD German Shepherd. Thank you, Jim. There's no pic, Jim. This is a podcast. For those of you who have entered a little late, I started at 7 p.m. And we're almost 10 minutes in. And I'm doing my first podcast. So the black screen you see is what you're supposed to be seeing. I invite you to relax, close your eyes maybe if you're lying down or something, and just enjoy the thing. So that's basically how it went. I don't want to go do a very, very thick description of my day with David. It was a thumbs up, is I guess but leaving me very, very tired. And now, my son gets back at both my son and daughter-in-law get back around 6. So I waited until about 6:57 p.m. and I ingested some of my cannabis, and that was very good. I want to tell you, shifting gears, I want to talk about what I watch on YouTube. I I even did it today during times when he's in the crate, he's sleeping, whatever it is. When because there is time, there's downtime. And like with a human baby, you sleep when they sleep. You can get a little nap in, even though I don't need a nap. I didn't take a nap. Uh, and I watch on YouTube, and I find that I'm really, really into it. Two game shows from the years about 1957 to now. You can go to the 70s version, which I really don't like too much, but it goes right up to the I guess around 1967 or so, and then it was redone with Gary Moore. Bud, not well. There's two. I don't want to get into the minutia of these shows, but one of them is To Tell the Truth. The other is What's My Line, and I find all of the panelists to be uh, interesting. I find some of the women to be absolutely gorgeous, and that's not meant to be, misogynistic or anything like that. But you take like a Phyllis Newman. She's just utterly a beautiful woman. Uh, and I think she died. You know that? Sometimes I'll look up some of these people. Again, it's What's My Line and To Tell the Truth from 1957 to about 67. I guess what I'm trying to do is immerse myself, saturate myself, marinate myself with a nostalgia for a time when I wasn't even born. I mean, there's some even there was some from like '53, believe it or not, on one or both of these shows, and I find them very, very relaxing. I also have taken in a couple of noir uh, films from the '50s. That's what I like. I like post-war. I don't mind things done before post-war, and I guess technically, if you want to say it, you'd say post-war would be '46 to present. Uh, but in noir, I like the ones from the '50s. I saw a great movie with Joan Crawford. I think that was her name, and it was called like Mrs. Whatever her name was. It was about a woman, and she alienated everyone in her life, from the maid to the assistant, right down the line, and then finally the husband. And uh, I don't think that character she played was, well. I would say there's some similarity, if there's any truth to the daughter who wrote the book, Mommy Dearest. Uh, and Rick DeBar notes, quote, always like the old game show, The Pyramid with Dick Clark. Yeah, you're right. The Pyramid, I haven't thought of that in a long time, Rick. So I'm really enjoying those. Uh, Let me shift gears again. I thought I would take a little time here to identify and describe. Identification is not enough. What you want to do is, at least I want to provide you with some uh, description, uh, and then reflect on that description. So it's really a reflection on my own thoughts, and it loops, so everything is reflective. Our reflective nature is one of our superpowers as human beings. But I wanted to identify and describe my core fears. Okay, one of them is financial. I have a fear of being in bad financial straits, and most of the only reason besides living today to be concerned about that is I want it all for my son. I mean, I want something there. And that's the nature of it is the fear of financial ruin. And I think as I reflect on that, that unless you have enormous wealth, and I'm talking 10 million minimum, and be conservative with it, you know, I would feel insecure. Okay, so that's one of my core fears. My other core fear, and this is something that's been really creeping up on me lately. I just don't hope it doesn't happen today or tomorrow. And I'm probably right, it won't. And it's my demise. I'm 67 years old. Now, I imagine any of you old timers out there who are getting up in the years. And, I must think about it on a daily basis, but maybe just a flash of thinking about it. But there are other times when I devote myself to thinking very deeply about my death. And then I would also include my loved ones' well-being. I don't even want to say death. You know what I mean? That's a core fear I have, and that's something that really is hard to kick. I guess one way to look at it is that I'm going to die, and I hope it's in my sleep. And when I do, and it's probably going to be within 10 years, okay, the way I abuse my body. Then, and it's really quite a state to think of, being dead. I guess it would be like you're in the deepest of your sleeps where you have absolutely no consciousness. It's possible. I think there's brain activity. So, but there are times when the conscious self is so deeply asleep. I'm not talking half asleep or anything like that. I'm talking about your deepest. I don't know if that's called REM or whatever it is. That the sleeps where you have no consciousness, so it's like you don't exist, and the only thing is your brain convinces you when you wake up that you were asleep, which is true. Okay, but that's quite a thing to ponder. What will it be like? And what it'll be like is really remarkable. You will no longer exist. And sure, you can, from a spiritual perspective, we could say that what you left behind will live on. And sadly, I imagine there are loved ones, but even some famous people no one thinks about them anymore, except for maybe people who are related and people like me. For example, Van Johnson, the actor. You remember he used to wear red socks. He was an actor in the, I think, the 50s, maybe even the 40s. Uh, and by the way, an interesting thing about him is he didn't come out of the closet because back then it was considered just not good for your career. And he even had I don't know if you would call it an arranged marriage, but he ended up marrying some woman. And there was a picture. If you look him up, you can maybe Google image Van Johnson and wife, and just a most bizarre picture. Okay, especially looking at her. But he ended up in a nursing home and he died. Who the hell thinks of Van Johnson? Okay, so that's another core fear I have, and I think those are the two. And right now, I'm not really too worried about it. But there are several ways that I predict. There's a prediction of how I will die. One will be I'll just die in my sleep. That would be great. The other will be that I have a sudden, massive heart attack and die. I don't know if you would call it. I don't know what. I'm trying to think of the news reporter, the actually investigator. He's incredible. His name escapes me. I'm so sorry. Uh, but where someone just collapses and dies. The only downside of that is the pain and the fear, knowing that you're dying, and that scares the shit out of me. I Please, I wish I don't die that way. Another one is cancer. And I'm not going to be, if I get diagnosed with cancer, I'm not going to be super aggressive. I'm going to maybe take some medicine. Shit, that's a slow death. Some people live with cancer, and some people survive cancer and live long lives. I do not really. I'm not really invested in. And this is kind of scary. I'm not invested in trying to prolong my life when the quality of it goes down. And in a way, I'll get a thought just run through my mind, and you may say, "But you believe that?" You may ask me. I'll say the thought. It almost makes me wish I was never born. The the fact just that I might have to go through that pain. This whole life may not have been worth it. Uh, and that's a sad place to be when you're in your golden years, uh, or somewhere roundabouts the third of your life. I'm a senior citizen now. There's no way to cut about it. Uh, and that's a big one. The good news is that none of these things will matter uh, when you're dead. However, you will leave a legacy, and I really do believe the last really Her Majesty is the last part of Abbey Road Side 2, but before that it's And in the End, the love you take is equal to the love you make. Beautiful. And I'm pretty sure that it was McCartney who wrote that line. Uh, And that's just an incredible end to what I think is their best album. I think their greatest album is Sergeant Pepper. So I think there's really a contrast. And if you want to say Rubber Soul and Revolver is best album, that's fine with me. Okay. I think Meet the Beatles or With the Beatles in the UK was such a breakthrough album that Meet the Beatles in the US, which really was not their first album. You know, a lot of people think it was, but there was, I think, Please Please Me, it was called. I'm not sure, but I should know that. The other thing is try to do the best you can, but not be crazy about it and enjoy the time you do have. And that is rational. Now I'm going to shift gears, but stay in the same vein of fears, and I'm going to talk about desires, hopes, wishes, aspirations, goals. When I really stop and just maybe I could even imagine you could do this for yourself. It's a good mental exercise. Stop and ask yourself, at this stage in your human development, at whatever age you are, what are your desires? What would you like to do? And what would you like to not do? And that's who you are. Your desires, your wishes, your preferences, your likes. And I stopped and I asked myself that. I have a little piece of paper right here. Of course, you can't see it. Those of you who are just coming in, let me just check this to make sure this is still good. I'm doing a podcast, and I'm doing a podcast. Yeah, it's working very well. I'm doing a podcast. Yeah, it's working very, very nicely. Well, where was I at? But I do have a piece of paper and of things to go by. Now I'd like to talk about Strat-O-Matic. Now, Strat-O-Matic is a fantasy baseball game that allows you to simulate baseball games. And you can make up leagues and make up teams. You can use straight teams. And I first started playing Strat-O-Matic back in 1970. And I played it to about 1970, early 74. Maybe to the middle of 74. And then I stopped. There were about 3 times between then and the pandemic, and that includes a broad range, like when I was married, when I was working. I did try to pick the game up, and once I did pick it up for about a year, and this was back in probably 81, when I lived in Boston, but then I tried it when I was married, and I did. This was the first time I ever saw the unperforated sheets, and I realized, wow, they put me to work. Uh, they are making me do their work. Why don't you pass the cost of it uh, and see if we can, continue to try to keep the price low. Some of the prices and the shipping is ungodly. The shipping costs, and that's why it's important to purchase in bulk. But when the pandemic hit, I started playing Strat-O-Matic, and I really ripped from the pandemic to about 4.5 years of the 1969 replay, and God damn it, I finished it. And if I'm not mistaken, the Braves beat the Orioles in the World Series. It's funny how that's not emblazoned in my mind, but there were great times. I remember like in June, I was in June, and I was playing with the Astros. They were a 500 ball club. And if anybody here wants to know how the Houston Astros did in my replay, just let me know and I'll pull it up. Just let me know in text. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it if nobody really gives a shit. Oh, wait a minute. I skipped over desires. Isn't that funny? I have a list here. That's why it's a good thing. I had sort of a two-pronged thing: talk about my fears, describe them, reflect on them. Now talk about my desires. Again, ask myself we'll get to Strat-O-Matic in a bit and more abbreviated. Uh, I don't have any of the desire to be successful or anything like that. So that's a good thing. The drive that I had in my 30s, 40s, and 50s professionally. So I that's a whole different life. Uh, I want, so sometimes I tell myself I just want peace of mind. And then it occurs to me, well, that flips back to the fears of finances and well-being. Uh, I want peace of mind, and I don't mean complete tranquility, but I do want to not be so troubled. Another one is one I think best not to share. But if there are some curious people out there who really want to know, say go for it. Just type in there, go for it, Jeff, and I'll share it with you. You know, I don't want to be offensive. Okay, so I'll get back to Strat-O-Matic now. I started the 68 replay, and, I don't know what, about 20, 30 games in or something. I'm in May, okay? I'm in early May. And I have suspended it. I guess it must be 2.5 to 3 weeks, somewhere between that I have, since I have played my last game, and it's on there under live stream, so you could find it. First of all, now that I'm caring for this puppy German Shepherd, I do not have the time. And I don't know if it's true. And I'm not even sure if I'm entirely. No, I forgot what I was saying, so let me just listen. Entirely. No, I forgot what I was saying, so let me back this up just a tad. And I don't know if it's true. And I'm not even sure if I'm entirely. Wow, I have to go back a little more. That I'm caring for this puppy German Shepherd. It's kind of cool. You can do a replay if you lose your train of thought. I do not have the time. And I don't know if it's true. I'm not even sure if I'm entirely. Oh yeah, now I remember. I'm just remembering. You know, I wouldn't say it though. Bear with me. Okay, so as I was saying, it was internal. It was, I don't know if it's true or I'm being sincere. Oh, yeah, when I say that I don't have the desire to play Strat-O-Matic. Nothing against Strat-O-Matic, people. I just need a break. However, the good news, and I don't know if Kathy Harden is here, is Trivial Strat. It's a new way of playing Strat-O-Matic and broadcasting Strat-O-Matic. And of course, we're talking Strat-O-Matic baseball. It's a game show format. And I think it might prove to be very interesting. I've gone 37 minutes and I'm winding down. I thought I would end this way. I think that this was time that was well spent, for me at least. I don't know if you got anything out of it. It helped me a little bit to talk about my day and what I watch on TV, to try to get into the fears and desires that are organizing myself, and give a shout out to Strat-O-Matic and all the people out there who, especially those people who enjoy Strat-O-Matic baseball. You could go down football, hockey, basketball, all super, and computer I don't do. Okay, I don't want to do that. I mean, maybe if there were incredible graphics, but I don't think it has the allure that card and dice has. And those of you who know me should not be surprised that I say that. Well, to all of you, I want to say thank you for being here. There's Kathy Harden, who just, I see her a couple minutes ago saying hello. I don't know how long you've been here, but that's been about the, and that's a good name. I like that name, Kathy. If you know, Trivial Strat, it has a good. Now, I also like to have a second name, a Trivial Strat-O-Matic, and then even a third name, Trivial Strat-O-Matic Baseball, and you could even go with Trivial card and dice or Strat-O-Matic card and dice baseball. But either way, it's going to be cool. If it's okay with you, I don't know if you're out there, I'd like to disclose the thus far. It's an evolving format. If and when I do go back, and when I go back, I might be drafting players having, things like Ty Cobb and Willie McCovey playing on the same team, things like that. Uh, uh, well, I don't think you'd mind too much. I really don't. It's a new way to play Stratomatic, and there are two rules. You have to answer two trivia questions correctly, or I think it was three, but I'm thinking two might be better because it might be hard for some people to get one even. You know what I mean? But they also have to have a home run. So therefore, the first home run. Oh, thanks, Kathy. The first home run will is required, and if at that time you had two trivia questions guessed correctly, you just won the game, and that's the basic rule. That's a core rule right now, and I think it might be interesting to play some of that. Some games might end in the second inning. You know, you get a warm up question maybe, and if you get and by the way, uh, anyone can type in an answer after it's been posted. Sure, the first person to guess it can have some gratification if you're the competitive type, uh, or if there's a competitive side to you. I guess most of us have a bit of that. Uh, so you got to get two right. You have a warm up question, and then you may even have one in the top of the second. And just imagine you get the warm up question, and in the first inning, Willie McCovey hits a home run, and all you need is one trivia question. You won this game. Okay, so there's lots of different variations to this, brains and brawn. So I hope some of you might like that kind of format. And of course, it would be broadcasted. To me, it doesn't exist unless it's broadcasted. I am not subjugating playing Stratomatic alone, offline. Many of the people who don't broadcast play Stratomatic. And one day I decided to try a broadcast, and being the extremist I am, I could never see that once you broadcast, you can't go back. And it's pretty labor intensive, if I must say. I want to thank all of you who have spent some time this evening, 45 minutes of your time. In my first, you keep standings and have a tournament of champions, maybe. Yeah. And then you have home run leaders by team and by individual. You know, one way to do it is you could like I'm saying, you could mix and match players from different eras, but I would like to do, and Kathy may not agree with this, I would like to do more of a standard game. So let me pick out teams that I think have big home run hitters, and I don't know if it's maybe the Detroit Tigers and of '69, maybe of '68. The possibilities are endless, absolutely endless. And uh, I'm trying to think what team. Maybe let me think of it. See, I only have 1911, 1962. There might be a team there. Maybe even the Tigers again. 62, 64 I have. And I don't know what team you would pick. You would want to pick the team, like the ideal thing to do would be if you had the 61 set and you pick the Yankees. Uh, they had like five people, six players, I don't know, maybe more, with 20 or more home runs, including, I think, Clete Boyer. Elston Howard had 48 frickin' home runs, I believe. Now you folks who have been keeping up with baseball in real world, which I haven't, would know best what teams maybe broke those records. Okay, of most home runs in a season. I think records have been broken. What's really strange is you go back to say 1970, and you were uh, becoming immersed in baseball and its history, as I was. Uh, and I just don't, I can't get into it now. I do watch highlights sometimes. Somehow I got here again. Some people put, "Hello, Ron McGrath. Ron, you're here at the very tail end." In fact, uh, I've gone over 45 minutes. I think it's best if I quit while I'm ahead. I think this went off pretty well. This has been a podcast. That's why you are seeing a black screen. And it's a different type of media, of course, but it is a live stream, and it is technically falls into the criteria of a podcast. And I hope you all enjoyed it. I want to thank those who came in on text, but I want to thank everyone, even if you didn't text. Thank you to Ron McGrath for being here, Kathy Harden, and our day will come with Trivial Strat. And Rick DeBar, thank you for being here. Jim Corchone, and I never know if I'm quite getting that right. Thank you all for being here. Stay strong, stay well, and I'll catch you all next time.